Hey, it is week number 1 of our 8-week series, how to get the most out of the holidays. There's a lot of stuff going around, like how to take the stress out of holidays and lots of things. So maybe some of those are going to be helpful. Hopefully this is going to feel like an especially kind of personalized touch on those things. Not just for me, but a personal piece for you. So each week is kind of divided into a different topic. This beginning week, the topic is essentially expectations. Let's go back a little bit just for a second. The reason this series is how to get the most out of the holidays, and the reason that I brought that up, and that I'm going to take this time, my time, which I think like a lot of adults, I don't have a bucket of free time hanging around. So this is really important to me. I, as a therapist and as a human, but also really specifically as a therapist, this time of year is ubiquitous. Everyone that I talk to, from the adolescents that I work with, all the way through all stages of life, it's a big deal. And it's a big deal in different ways to different people. And since I focus a lot on anxiety in my work, I want to speak a lot to that, but there are also, of course, a lot of other things going on this time of year. I really value human connection. As a human, as a person, it's so important to me. I love having a community, different kinds of communities, places where I sort of do different things in my life, fun people, thoughtful people, parents that I hang out with their kids, all of these different communities where I get to have a sense of connection, and I get to express different parts of myself. And we know through all kinds of therapy research and books and anecdotally that our mental health as humans is better when we're connected to more people. So how do we go through this holiday season and get this sense of belonging, sense of connection, maybe some real meaning, and feel seen and valued? Those are the big 4 things: connection, belonging, meaning, and feeling seen / feeling valued. Like, I am value added. I want that for everyone. Whether you're depressed, whether you're anxious, whether you're struggling with addictive behaviors, whatever you're doing, being connected to humanity is going to elevate your experience. And it can be a real setup for people, and it can be really hard for some people. So let's start with, that's why and that's what, and then let's start with the expectations piece. So this time of year, how do we know it's the holidays? If you look around externally, how do we know it's the holidays? So 1, you're getting a bunch of more flyers in your mail, your ads in your email and whatever social media are all like, here's the sparkle thing that's going to make everything really nice. We have parties, we have food, we have gifts, and all of this stuff. If we look at it, let's think, so we're doing all these things. Why are we doing all these things? And underneath it, the answer is usually, I want to feel something. That's almost the answer to everything that we do. I want to feel something, or I want to avoid feeling something. Like I want to feel something. Usually around the holidays are those things. I want to feel connection. I want to feel belonging. I want to feel like I am part of something that's meaningful, or I'm making meaning in my life. And I want to feel valued. Those are fundamental human needs. And that means that this part of the year is a really powerful time, because we really hone in on that in a way that we don't always take full ownership for. So parties are fun, and yummy cakes are fun, and presents are fun, and wearing like sparkly outfits are fun. And there's something underneath that. And so if we can totally get real about what is the actual point, then we're going to get more of what we want. So we be honest about what we're trying to feel, so that when we're not feeling that, we get really quickly like, oh, this is the wrong direction. Let's see. So if we're trying to feel connection, and we're trying to feel belonging, and we're trying to feel meaning, let's look at your calendar, right? Look at your calendar for the next 6 weeks or whatever it is. And then look at what is on the calendar, and you can check in. You can see, as soon as you read something in your calendar, you can feel, whoop, oh, that makes my heart feel open. or that makes me feel really kind of tense and anxious. And so then there's sort of the beginning of your compass for where you're going to find what you're looking for. That's the light touch stuff, right? That's the easy stuff. Maybe your holiday work party, you're like, we're not going to that. I don't enjoy it. It feels obligatory. And really, it's not going to add value. It's not going to make me feel connected to people. I'm not going to feel like I have belonging. I'm not going to find meaning. And I'm not really going to feel seen. So really, it's just an obligatory thing that's, unless it's really going to boost your career, then we're going to call it that, which is more of a safety thing. Like, I want to feel like I have enough money. Those are all the light touch things. When we start to look at the bigger stuff, which is usually family, the holidays is now looking for, now we're upping the ante. We're going really, really deep in the psyche. Connection, belonging, meaning, and being seen inside of our families is really base level human stuff. So I've talked before, next week we're going to go all into the biology of anxiety and some also into depression and how that works. But those 4 things relative to our families can be an amazing opportunity to feel fulfillment and to feel like we have a rich life. And they also can be an opportunity to feel really disappointed and really hurt even. So this is the part where we have to slow down. The things that we have always done, we might look at the things we've always done with our family and say, I feel really fulfilled by those things. I'm getting those 4 core needs. They're really getting checked off. When we have Christmas Eve or whatever holiday that you come together with your family or your Thanksgiving, I'm getting those things. It's awesome. It's great. There's a lot of dishes, but it's totally worth it, right? For some people, we're showing up. Maybe you're showing up and what's happening is you're not feeling seen. You don't really get any connection. The meaning, really you're getting disappointment. And usually when that happens, it's not the only time of year that happens, and it's not the only time in your life that has happened. So the holidays are actually potentially both really hard, but also this opportunity to start to shift. We don't spend time like this with our families the rest of the year. So the holidays are potentially a way to take the reins and say, this is what I have. This is what I'm trying to feel. And we're going to start with threads, right? We're not going to go from this is what I have and now I feel so fulfilled and great because I did one thing. Okay, so let's have an example. I really love connecting with as many people as I can. That's not always possible, especially I have a little kid. Some people know right now I have a little kid. So what I really love is not always the first priority. So I have to look at my calendar and say, I want to connect with this group of people, this group of people, this group. For me, it's quite a few people that I would like to see over the next 6 weeks in this time that can feel pretty magical. And then I reach out to them. But before I reach out to them, I think of what's actually in my bucket right now. My energy bucket, my emotional bucket. For a lot of us, our financial bucket. What is it that I could do and feel like I'm really in a space where I'm not overextending myself. I'm really getting seen. I'm really getting connection. I'm really finding meaning. And a lot of times that looks different. I mean, all of us, we're all smart folks. We know that sometimes it looks really different than the Hallmark movie. So, I have good friends that we do Thanksgiving every year, and we have for a long time. And now we both have kids. And in the past, we had gone to the mountains every year and had this great mountain adventure in Colorado. The last 2 years, everybody got epically sick. This is a thing that I look forward to every year for so many reasons. I love the mountains. I love these people. I love that we have like a slumber party together. And after all of us got so sick last year, I mean the kind of sick where it's like we might be going to the emergency room kind of sick. I was pretty sad. I felt like I was going to have to give up this thing that really actually feeds me. And the other mama that goes to the mountains with us suggested that we stay at actually our house. So they're going to come to our house and have a sleepover at our house for only one night, and where we have a lot more of what we need and we're not at as such high altitude. So we both had to assess what was in our bucket and rein it in. It's Thanksgiving. I don't know if we're having turkey. I don't care. I want to play board games with my friends. So I'm happy to have Chinese food. I'm happy to do whatever. That is, when you have a room full of, I have a really little family, so even when my family comes, negotiating that kind of stuff is always pretty easy. There's like 4 of us, so it's like, oh, what are we going to eat? I think we figure that out. My husband's family is bigger and they do things really differently. They're really family centric in this way that's so loving and so rich and so wonderful. And I have had to acknowledge, like, I don't always know how to function in his family. It's not my fault and it's not their fault. It's not a fault. So that's one of the first things. When we find ourselves at whatever thing we've decided to do, or even before, the way that our family functions, the way that our friend groups functions, if it's not meeting our needs, the first thing that we do in disappointment is often say we need to point the finger somewhere. Either I'm not okay or they're not okay. And that's really the biggest beginning of miss, because that's when we first fall out of relationship with ourselves and with them. So we're going to take the thing that we've signed up to do with our family or our friends or whomever it is, and we're going to say, I'm not getting my needs met. So then maybe we're going to pare down or pair up. Maybe we need to go bigger, whatever it is. And then if there isn't a space right now or you can't find it to shift what you're doing, then what we're going to do is say, okay, I feel disappointed. One, of course, for anyone, if there's actually not safe, like you're very being attacked, that's a whole nother story. So that's like, we need to get extradite yourself from the situation. Short of that, it's like, God, I really don't agree with this person's politics. I'm really uncomfortable with like how they seem really sad and that's hard to be around, or they're negative, or whatever it is. So this is hard for me. The very first thing is to tolerate our own disappointment and see if we can skip making it a fault. Your fault because you're not good enough, or someone else's fault because they're not good enough or wrong or whatever. We are who we are and we are how we are. You get to be how you are, and your father or your sister or your brother or whoever it is, they all get to be who they are. So the first step is, can I tolerate what is disappointing? And the reason that is so important is because we can't get an authentic relationship with ourselves and what we need and what's happening for us until we can say, there are places where I'm not getting connection. I'm not feeling like I belong. I'm really not having anyone match the meaning that I have in this time, or it feels meaningless. And I don't feel like anyone's acknowledging my value added. We don't often learn that as humans. Every Disney movie ends really well. In fact, most movies end well. We don't want to feel disappointed. Part of the reason I really truly believe we don't want to feel disappointed is because we believe that something has gone wrong if we're disappointed. Someone has gone wrong even. Disappointment is in the fabric of life. It opens our heart. So we're almost at the end of time right now, so I would just want to leave that with folks. Beginning this season, being honest about what you want. What do you want to feel? Realistically, right? We need to think about what's the life you actually have. You're maybe not going to have a private trip to Bora Bora. What would you like to feel? Not what would I like to get or what would I like to do necessarily. What would I like to feel? How do I think I can get that? And then the places where I know that I'm not going to get it, can I just be disappointed and not have it be anyone's fault? And then next week when we come back, we're going to pick up on that thread and we're going to talk about tolerating our own emotions, and then also the waves that we go through. So this is a really lovely place to be like, oh, I'm going to be disappointed and I'm going to tolerate it, and it's all like fabulous. Being disappointed really feels crummy. And usually we either shut down or get angry at people when we're disappointed. So if we can begin there, then next week we'll start to talk more about the biological process that's happening with that, how that goes into anxiety and depressions. I'm tempted to talk about it now, but we're out of time. So I will see you next week at lunch on Wednesday, and we'll talk some more about it. So think about connection, belonging, meaning, being seen and feeling like an value-added person. Where do you get that? Go find it, make it. Start texting people, reach out, be willing to ask for what you want, but that requires being seen and it requires being willing to get disappointed. And that's where we begin. Are you willing to want something and maybe be disappointed? Because it's a really powerful season, it's a really rich time, and if you're willing to get disappointed, you also might experience some really high highs and some amazing joy that's so satisfying. So I wish the best to you, and I look forward to seeing you next week. And I have to figure out how to run the camera.